Hey everyone, Mr. Voikin here, and we are in our second module. We're going to be getting into architectural drawings, and before we start making our floor plans, we got to get a bunch of blocks built, so little parts that we'll use to make our drawings. And we're going to start with the doors. So I'm in a new drawing. This is my engineering drawing template, and I'm going to start off by making a swing door with an opening of 610 millimeters. So notice I'm on the object layer, and I'm going to go and create the door jamb, or the frame, the left side, which would be a rectangle, REC. And I'm going to make that rectangle with a width of 50 millimeters, and press comma, and it's going to have a thickness or a depth on that frame of 100 millimeters. And I'm just going to turn the line weight on so you can see that better, and turn off the grid. So that is our door frame, and it's always going to be that size for an interior door. So 50 millimeters by 100 millimeters. If we're making exterior doors, it would be 50 millimeters by 150 millimeters. Okay, so this door is a swing door and has an opening of 610 millimeters. So I'm going to switch over to the construction layer really quickly, and I'm just going to make a line in between this door frame and extending to the right at the size of the opening, which is 610. And I'm going to do the same thing up above. Now I can just redraw the line, or I could even use something like copy and just grab this and place it up top there. Okay, now what I need to do is create a door frame on the right hand side, and again I could switch back to my object layer, and I could use the rectangle command, I could use the line command, I could use P line for polyline, or I could just copy this and move it over there by grabbing this side and placing it right there. Or I can even use the mirror function by going MI, mirror, what do you want to mirror? That from where? From the midpoint of this construction line. And if you move your mouse up, it will place it in the right position. And then you just need to click once, left click to place it, and say, do you want to get rid of the source one? It defaults to no, so if you just right click, it will select that one. Okay, I now need to make my door, and all doors that are interior, standard thickness is 40 millimeters, so I'm going to use the rectangle command, and I make a door going up and in that direction with a width of 40, comma, and the length is going to be 610. And there we have it. Now we always want to show the pathway that the door takes, just so we don't build any objects that are in that pathway that would not allow the door to open properly. So to do that, we're going to go over to the left hand side, and we're going to go find an arc. So when I look at the arc right here, this one is start end radius. Okay, now if I select that one, I'm going to start down in the bottom right at this point, and it swings up to that point with my radius being the length of the door, and that will form a perfect radius for you. So I'll do that again. I chose my arc at start end radius, start, end right there, and the radius, I could just type 610 in there, but it's just as easy to come down and touch this because I'm coming from that point down the length of the door, which is 610. Okay, now we can leave it as a solid line, or if you like to, we can also go and change the line type to show that it's not actually an object or part of the door, it's just something demonstrating the pathway that it's going to take. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to choose a dashed line, which is, where's dashed? Why can I not see dashed? Like a dash dot. There it is. Okay, and we're going to change the line type scale. So I put in 100, and that looks pretty good right there. So there is our swing door that is 610 millimeters wide in the opening, And now what you need to do is make the other doors, which will be 712 millimeters, 762, 814, 864, and 916. So the only thing that's going to be different in there is basically that opening size, the length of this door, and the radius on this arc. But everything else will be the same. So I can just copy that and I'll move it over to say here. So I'll go over 600. And now I'm going to go back to my construction layer, make a line that's going to be the new length, which was 712. And I'll do the same thing right here. And I will now copy the door frame, grabbing it and placing it over there. Switch back to my object layer. I'm going to form the door, making a rectangle with a width of 40 and a length of 712. And then I'm going to go to my arc and make the arc go from the start to the end with that radius. And again, I will select that door, choose the dashed line type, and I chose a 100 line type scale last time, which seemed to work, and that is perfect. Okay, now what I want to do is set up some text underneath these doors to identify them. So first of all, I'm going to switch to my construction layer, and I'm going to type T for text, make a text box, and up top I want to select a text size that's going to be appropriate. So as this frame right here is 100 millimeters tall, that's approximately the height that I would want. So if I go onto my list, I look and see if I have 100, great, I'm going to choose that, and all caps, these are swing doors. Okay, press save, and now it puts the word swing doors right there for you. And if I want to modify this, I can click on it, drag it over. I can grab this little arrow and pull it this way if I want it to be all in one line. Okay, so everything in this row is going to be swing doors. Now I'm going to do some more text, and I'll put the text box underneath here. Again, this time I want to go a little bit smaller than that, so I'll go 50 millimeters. Okay, well, I don't have one that's 50 millimeters, so I've got a choice. I can go into my format right here, so I'll just exit of this command and just go to text style, and I'll just quickly add one right now. So add, what am I going to call it? 50 mm, and keep my width there, my angle at 10, and change the height to 50. Hit apply, and I'll close that window. And now when I go make my text box, by typing T, make the text box, I should have that new one in here at 50 millimeters. Okay, and there it is right there. So this is a door that is 610, and I'm just going to click save, and that is done. Now the best way to make the other one here is just to sort of take this thing. Well, first of all, I'm going to just move it over slightly so it's sort of in the center of that door, and then I'm just going to use the copy command, copy that, and I'll just slide that over right underneath that door, double click on it, highlight it. It is 712, and I can even shrink the text box so it's an appropriate size. This one right here, I'm just going to move it over slightly so it's centered a little bit better. And again, if I want to go in here and shrink that text box down, I can. And there we go.